So we've got a few decisions to make inside of the cab here. It's pretty much wide open how I want to design this center console. It's got to look symmetrical. It's got to be aesthetically pleasing, but it also has to function. I know that the shifter needs to go right here at about this seat level, maybe a hair lower than the edge of the seat, for that to be comfortable for the driver to reach. And then we also know that the customer wants this to look like it's tying right into the dash. I've got some lines done up on the floor down here where the dash center hits, and everything off of the level is showing center here. When I measure from the outside of the cab in the door jamb area, it also shows that as center. But when I measure from the interior kick panel area over, it's showing the cab center being a little further towards the driver, which is also where my seam and the measurements line up when I measure up there. So being it's an old cab, I can deal with some stuff being tweaked. It's really hard to find a really good spot to measure off of to be consistent with all the curves and everything going on in here. So all right, so we took a step backwards for a minute. I had some issues with the seats. Looked like they weren't sitting dead center. One was closer to the door than the other. Turns out it was just the upholstery. The bolsters were a little bit different from side to side, which makes perfect sense. So what I did to fix that is I actually took the seats out and rebuilt the pedestals with slots in them, so that when we get the actual seats in here, we have a little bit of adjustability, and we can move the seat inboard, outboard, wherever it needs to be to fit with the center console and the doors, just because now we've realized that the foam and the upholstery and stuff is actually going to make quite a bit of a difference, which I guess is obvious, but not something you really think about when you're trying to get everything completely centered and mounted in here. I mounted the shifter on just some temporary little pieces of quarter round with some threaded rod on them, so I can get this in a position where I kind of want it. I can lower it down a little bit on the threads or raise it, but I don't think we're going to want it any taller than this. But now that gives me all of my solid points that I know where everything is going to be to build the center console around. So I'm going to get some paper out, some cardboard, start making some templates and bend it around and try to make a cool design for this thing. This T-shaped panel here where it kind of bumps out, I'm going to remake that out of steel so it can be a separate piece, and we can wrap that separately from the rest of the dash when we're doing the interior work, and that'll tie in really nicely to the center console. You can kind of see a really rough idea of what I've got going on there. Just trying to make sure we've got enough room to fit what we need in there and it's comfortable. So this is the piece of paper that I stuck on there. Got all of the lines. This inside line is where my bend is going to start for all of my curves. This inner area here will be pretty much flat. And then you can see where there's like wrinkles in the paper where we're gonna have to shrink this metal up to get that cupped the way we want it around everything. This is looking pretty good. Up in here, I've got a little bit of work to do along the center, and you can see where my lines are. That still has to be bent over, and then the little reveal over there where the glove box shuts. But we're pretty nice and tight up along this top edge, and then I've got a mark here where it's starting to come away from the dash all the way around this corner down here. So got a little refinement, some trimming, all of that to do on this piece. I'm going to trim this bottom edge because the roller follows this outside edge when it rolls it. So I'm going to make this a little more shallow here, and that should bring this curve more where these dotted lines are. All right, I messed with this for an hour or so, and I've got it fitting pretty freaking good. Got her lined up with the dash decently, and I don't think I can really do any more finessing with it until I get it mounted to the dash and I know that it's in its location where it's going to be. Then I can actually start doing some of the finish trimming around the edges, make sure it's all going to fit nice and tight all the way around. So I think my plan is I'm going to drill some holes right through this plate and through the original dash, and then I can use those 1/8" holes as my locator for some studs, and we'll just weld some studs right to the back of this thing, reach around up underneath the dash, put a washer and a nut on it, and that will hold this thing really nice and tight and stable. And then I can get the hole cut out of here for the dash bezel and over here for the screen bezel that we made.
Nice.
All right, we got the dash all prepped out now. I measured and cut the hole for where the screen's gonna go and bent up and mounted a little mounting tab, mounting setup in the back there for the screen to mount into. And then I've got the holes drilled in my trim piece here. So I'm gonna go ahead, slap that trim piece on, get the gauges and the screen and the bezel and stuff in, and make sure everything fits. So this is what the dash looks like, all installed and put together. This is the bezel we made for the screen. It's got some mounting in the back that screws in from the back side. This removable panel has studs on it that have nuts and washers from the back side as well. And then this is the Dakota Digital dash setup, and that has its standard mounting that comes from them. So now all of this will come off and come out of the way. I'm going to build or put a piece of sheet metal on here that will be detachable from the dash, and I'm going to start bending up some round bar to build the framework for the center console. Once we get that all sheeted in sheet metal, I've got some cup holders that we've got printed and a couple other small pieces we want to do, and then I'll figure out where the bottom of this dash panel will be cut off. I think I'm going to roll it right into the center console, so there'll be a little split with a step in it, and that'll be one piece that comes off here. This piece will come off. It'll all go together in pieces. I broke out the old Harbor Freight bender. This thing hasn't seen the light of day from underneath the bench for quite some time, but most of the time when I'm doing these round bar frames, I'm doing like a one-off piece, so I'll just sit in the vise and bend it until it fits perfectly. But this one I want to be nice and square and come really close to matching my template here. So I've got some really nice curves going here. That section will go up to the dash right there. This comes around. This is going to go up for the elbow bend. So I've got one more bend to do right here to come back, and then I'm going to go fit it in the car and figure out where it needs to arc up this way in the back to meet up with the back window. Might not be right. Okay, I've got the top framework put together. I built my little flange here. It's just clamped in right now, but this will bolt to the underside of the dash, and that will hold this center console in up in the front on the top section. I'll do a little tab and do the same thing in the back once I get that cut down, but I'm going to get the seats out before I get too much further with any of that. But this is the part where all of your best laid plans can change. So originally we were going to have the cup holders here, but the shifter assembly actually comes back too far. It would get right in the way of the cup holder. So we'll do a like 3/4 inch deep little tray right here in the center, and then the cup holders that we have will actually fit quite nicely up front here. So I'm going to go ahead and get these seats out now that I've got this located where I want it. I'll get this trimmed down in the tabs in the back, get this piece attached, and we'll start working on the stuff down on the bottom. I got the shifter actually mounted to the top plate of the center console. It's removable with a few bolts, and then this separate plate is the shifter plate is nice and in line with the top of this piece, nice and flush, and that's mounted separately as well. Everything works, goes into all the gears, all of that stuff, so we are awesome there. And then it lines up nice with this piece on the dash. So after I did that, I took the level, came down, made some marks on the floor, and they're the same distance as this now, and I can start bending up this round bar piece for the bottom of the floor, and then doing our sections to meet in between. All right, this is our center console frame out of the truck. It fits in there beautifully. I've got my little tab so it screws in like 6 spots on the bottom, 2 spots here up under the dash, and then 2 spots here up underneath the window. And it looks like it is way too big to fit in that little cab, but it's gonna be nice. I left about 3 inches open in the front, so there's a good 3-inch gap here between this and the firewall so that we can put the diverter in for heat or any of that stuff. This section here from this bar back will be a removable panel on both sides so that we can get up in here, do what we need to do, get up under the dash if we have to, whatever. From this bar to this bar on both sides will be my complicated piece. It's going to have all the curves in it. It's going to have a curve to go to this bar and back, and then curve back in again with a slight radius this way, kind of to match the front of the seat, and that'll give us a little more movement for the seat to come forward and back. And then this piece from this bar back is pretty much, the whole side is pretty much covered by the seats. So this will just be one flat piece of sheet metal. I'll put a step on this edge and a step up along here. Super simple. So yeah, let's get that done. I've got a lot of welding to do. Some of these bars are just tacked in right now. So I want to get this all welded up really nice and solid, flap wheel it all smooth, get these 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces welded on, and get this back in the truck. Alright, so this is piece number 1. There's going to be 2 of them that are this large, but they're the largest pieces that we need for the center console. And I'm going to go ahead and get them all set up. There's no huge bends, reverse bends, compound stretching, anything that we need to do to this thing, other than run a bead around the outside. So there's a hair of a step. We're just going to do like a little 1/8 inch step, just to kind of stiffen it up and hold it tight against here, kind of get the center away a little bit, make it look nice. And then punch some holes around the edge, rosette weld it to the frame, flip it around to the other side. As usual, side number 2 is going way quicker than side number 1. I've already got the basic shape done on it. I got a little smoothing out to do. I wiped off the marks on the back side so I can actually trace the bottom edge perfectly, top and bottom, and then get it trimmed. Basically smooth it out on the English wheel just to get a couple little spots a little bit smoother. It's pretty much damn near perfect. And then I just got to figure out where it needs to be trimmed off on this end here so it matches the other side. Throw the bead roll in it, get her welded on. this thing all put together. How comfy it is. Nice little cockpit sitting here. Freaking fantastic. There we go. You can see the gauges beautifully. I can reach the touch screen freaking all day long. My cup right here. My drink. Shifter is perfect. You don't even have to look away from the road. It's like right where you want it when you let off the steering wheel. This will open up. It'll be perfect. It's like right now my arm wants to sit like here. So once it's padded, once that's padded there, it'll be great. You have a little dish right here behind the shifter that'll be 3/4 of an inch deep. Put change, your cell phone, whatever in there. Right here in front, where you'll be able to grab real easy, will be 2 paddle switches, passenger, driver side windows. We're printing out a bezel for the shifter right now, so this will cut out and you'll be able to see the indicators down the side right there. That'll be perfect. Key will go here, and then probably wipers next to it. And then we'll have the lights on this side. And I haven't drawn the circles yet, but we've got, I think they're 2.5 inch round vent balls. So there'll be one here, and then one for driver or passenger driver under here. And then this row right along here will be our switches for the heater, on, off, fan, hot, cold, all that. So yeah, this is perfect. I've got perfect view forward out there. This little curve right here that we built into the center console like matches the flow of the front of the seat, and I've still got about 3 inches right now with the seat all the way back. So I should be able to, oh yeah, I can go back more and I can come forward, way forward. Like you'd have to be a teeny person to freaking sit there. Yeah, super happy. Amy is gonna wrap all of this, I think, in tan leather. Everything outside of these panels will be painted a satin black. So this will all be wrapped along here. We'll have our little bezel switches. Maybe put a nice little stitch along it, and then this will come right up to the window. And the last thing I need to do after I make these center panels is I'm going to build a center bar behind this with some flanges on it, and then a little L flange on the floor so that we can put our little curved back panel along here and have something to screw to. This can all get insulated in the back. And then I'm also going to be making some metal panels to fill in this area behind here that will also get wrapped, and it'll just leave us a nice little rectangle for the headliner. So sweet.